Hey, it's Don here. I am back in Seattle. I'm on the boat finally. It's been a long time. So I have a lot to do this weekend. Um, First things first, coffee. But give me just a second here and I'll run you through the list of the stuff, hopefully in the order that we're going to be getting them done as we go down the checklist here with the most important items first. At least that's what we're shooting for. All right, well, item one on the agenda is going to be to try to do something with our anchor windlass today. So what I've done is I've pulled the old anchor out of the bowsprit or whatever you want to call it, anchor roller that it's in, and I have it ready to be displaced to someplace else. The dog has done a good job, she's right here, of chewing through the anchor rod that I put up there, the rope. She's chewed it almost in half, so that'll save me having to cut it in half to get it out of there. What happens is it goes down through a hole in the deck, and there's a ring where it's attached to the inside of the boat, and that ring actually doesn't fit up through the hole, as everything's got to go down from the top out through the cabin. So it's a thing. It's just an issue. So anyway, we're going to start on that probably because that's, I think, pretty much the most important thing. So you'll recall, here's my old anchor windlass. Here's a new anchor, big, heavy-duty, 45-pound Lumar Delta thing, I think. Blah, 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 whatever. It's a big effing anchor. And in this box right here is our windlass. So that's kind of job one. Job number two is do a dump run. I've disassembled the recliner, that big ugly blue recliner that I hated, taken it out of the cabin in pieces up here, so now it'll fit in a dumpster up there. I have replaced it with a gaming chair. Now, before you go all, what's Don doing putting a gaming chair in the boat, I'll just tell you, first of all, I went to Office Depot and I spent a half an hour parking my butt in different chairs all around the place, and it was pretty comfortable. And so I have that set up inside now. I've got the computer stuff set up so that the boat is just like home and just like the office. So I've got a laptop with a docking station with a big monitor so I can edit videos and all that kind of stuff anywhere I go. So I can just grab the laptop and move from place to place to place and have my working area the same everywhere I go, because I am still working. We've got a hatch up on the foredeck up there that I currently have covered with a garbage bag, that one right down there, because it is leaking, dripping on the bed in the front there. So I don't know what's leaking. I know there's a couple little holes in the clear coat up there, or the gel coat. Have I been calling it clear coat the whole time? It's gel coat. Anyway, couple of holes. That might be where the water's coming from, but for right now I've just got a bag over it, so it's waterproof, at least until I can figure that out. So there's that. So anchor windlass, teak step on the back, figure out the hatch. I did install some cameras. They're not quite fully done. This is a pan tilt zoom camera. Looking out the back here, I've got to fix up the cabling. I've also got to fix up the cabling for the Starlink. Both of those are just temporarily run, so I got some cabling to fix up. The cameras I can pull up on my phone, so I'll be able to kind of keep an eye on the boat when I'm not here, which will make me feel better. I've ordered another light strip for the back here that will go down. There's an outlet down there that will be plugged in down there, and then I've ordered another motion detector, so I can put a motion detector here, so as you come in, the back deck will be lit up. Yeah, so far that's the list of stuff. There's a few other things to do, but mostly inside stuff, little stuff. But anyway, I'm like I said, I'm not quite done with the coffee yet. I'm not having enough breakfast. But once I get all those things accomplished, we'll start on that anchor and see what we can do. What I'm going to do is I have a dock box up at the front. I got to make sure find the key for it. I'll probably throw the old anchor and that old rope in that dock box, because I do have an extra anchor. That's the tip of it pointing up right there in the corner. So I've got an extra anchor if I need to throw one out the back. And I believe somewhere I've also got a little not folding, but kind of hinged one that I could tie up the dinghy with if I needed to. So a lot to do, a lot less talking necessary at this point. Let's get some work done. All right, well, if you don't get started, nothing gets done, right? So in the interest of giving you a little quick preview of what I've got to do, I am in the forward berth, and there's our anchor locker. So we have got to get into that thing. The issue is the former owner of the boat was really big into memory foam mattresses. So this is a memory foam mattress, which is higher than the doors to the anchor locker. So I got to get that thing open. And last time I did it, I kind of pushed down on the mattress and was able to get the doors open enough to take the doors off. They will come off those hinges pretty easy. But I think I'm going to try something a little different this time. I'm going to see if I can't maybe take this mattress off and put it down here on the lower bunk. Although there's probably not going to be enough room for it down there. But I'm just going to see if I can't get something done a little differently so I can get in there. Then I've got the new anchor rope and chain in a bucket. That's how it came. So I'll bring the bucket in here, feed it up through the front of the boat, pull it up in there, hook onto my new anchor, get it up through the anchor roller so I can kind of get it in place. Then I'll start to get that windlass placed to make sure everything's going to fit okay. Looks like I've also got a light burned out here. I have extra lights, and this is that hatch that's been leaking. That's why it's kind of dark in here, as I've got that garbage bag over it, but it's been leaking right in here somewhere. So I'm not sure what we're going to find about that, but it's dripping right down here on the bed. So this kind of where we got to start this project is getting this mattress somehow out of the way enough that we can get those doors open and kind of get up in there to work. So like I said, I think that's the plan. I'm going to move that and see what we can do here. Okay, so here we have our bucket of rope, and So it looks like what they've done is they wound it up so this is the end that will attach to the boat. That's kind of going down the outside here, and then our end that's attached to the chain is down the center. I have dropped a string down through the anchor hole here so that we can tie the string to the chain and get up on top and start to pull that through. So I'll do that now. Alright, well, I have put the front berth back together, closed up the door. I put the rope up in there, and up on the deck I have the anchor hooked to the chain. I have the snubber, or the thing that holds the chain in place, holding it up there, and I got to do a little work on that deck plate, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, here's the existing box that held the old windlass. So this hole is going to line up with hole B on our plan here, but I need a new hole, this B hole here, which is where the power goes through. So basically this is going to line up just about like that. So I'll drill new holes there and there. I'll put a hole there, which means all these other holes need to be glassed in and covered up. And this hole, this B, where the power goes down through, so these will no longer be up here like this. I'll be taking that whole thing down below, and then notice our switches go here. This one didn't even have a switch in it. So yeah, new anchors there, snubbed up like I said, just around our thing here, and it's about as far as we're going to get it right this minute, because I'm going to want to glass those in, which is not a huge deal, and I may kind of sand the whole mess down and put some clear coat back over it to clean it up, make it look good before we cover it up here. But it's about as far as we're going to get her today. All right, so me and the dog are thinking that since the Windlass is probably going to be a little bit more of a project than we think we're ready for right this minute, and it is a Formula One weekend, and I now have the cabin put back together enough so that we can actually watch the race in a little while. I'm thinking that, and the dog concurs, that maybe what we'll do is we'll turn our attention back to our area back here that we've been working on. So I took a file and worked it over roughly on the outside where I had taped it up. So I've got a fair amount of work to get this fairing compound kind of planed down, if you will. And if I can, I want to have it sloped ever so slightly back so that as water comes down the door, it will run off. And then we'll be ready for a coat of gel coat across that, or several coats, and much sanding and all that. So I think we'll set up here and get started on that for a while. it's about time for me to start thinking about heading myself back to Salt Lake. I've been up here for about 3 weeks, and I got some stuff going on, so I'm probably going to have to roll out of here. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a cleanup day and getting everything situated, but Saturday we'll probably head back to Utah. I just wanted to give you a quick update on where we're going to leave this for now. I have got one coat of gel coat back here on this back step area. I've got it covered over with some wax paper to make it cure. As I understand it, if it's left exposed to the oxygen, it kind of stays sticky. So you're supposed to cover it up with something. And it said you could use wax paper, so I'm using wax paper. I have also taken all of my steps from the swim ladder back there, and I've got a coat of teak oil on those. So you saw me, I sanded them all down. They were all pretty gray, which is just wood that hasn't been maintained. Gets that gray, the top layer gets all gray and dry, and so you sand that off, you get back down to the grain, and then you oil the crap out of it. So that's what we're doing. Those will sit there and soak up for a while, and then I'll flip them over again, and now I've got one coat on both sides. I'll put another coat on the other side, let it sit in there, and then repeat that process. Up where the anchor windlass goes, I don't know, I'm walking up here. I'm not going to be able to show you because the light, but I did take some of that gel coat and covered over my holes where I had glassed in those holes a little bit. So, holy cow, it is really blowing. So I covered over those holes with the first coat of gel coat up there. I also have wax paper over those. So the gel coat process is going to be pretty much left that way for this trip, I think. It won't hurt it to stay covered up, I don't think. It will cure up nice and dry. And then next time up here, we'll start the sanding, sand that down. I'm sure we're going to need another coat or two just because of difficulties in getting it smooth and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I didn't get everything done that I wanted to get done, but I got some stuff done. I did get my new light on the back deck here. You can see that up there. It's not in place permanently yet. I've still got some tape holding the ends on, and I have not wire tied my wires down there, but I now have that Hughes system pretty well dialed in. So these are right here. Sorry for the mess, but I'll just show you. This is the motion sensor. So right now I just have this sitting here. I think what I'm thinking is I'm going to put that up. Oh, the sun's right in our eyes. I'm going to put that like right up here in the ceiling, and so it's pointing right at this door. So as you walk in, this motion sensor has been configured in the system to turn on the lights and leave them on for about an hour. And then I have an additional one inside here, right inside this door. And this one turns on the saloon lights. Saloon, whatever. And then I've got one more down in the galley down there, and that turns on the galley lights. So then the last part of that I've been working on is you have these little round 4 switches, and you configure those. So I've got one of those configured to be down in the master cabin. So first thing in the morning, I can hit button 1 and turn on the salon and the cabin low for getting up and taking the dog on her first walk of the day. And then if you press and hold it shuts them off. You can turn the dial on the outside and it turns everything up and down, so forth. So pretty handy stuff. You can do a lot of configuring, make it how you want it. So anyway, I think that's probably where we're going to have to leave this one. And next time you see me, I'll probably be back in Salt Lake working on a Jeep or a boat, a sailboat. And then we'll come back up here and continue on up here. So there we go.